Good evening all and welcome to another video on All How the Ale. Tonight we are going for the first of two tasting sessions featuring beers from Small Beer Co. Which two are we going for first? It's these two. It is Steam and Session Pale. And these beers I got for Christmas from a good lady wife. And what can I tell you about them? Well, inside the gift box that you receive, I've got the empty one here. This is what it looks like. Alright, you get 4 beers and 2 glasses. The glasses are identical and they're little half-pint glasses like so. And they're quite cute little things. And it says on the box to think big and drink small. And on the back it says, we believe in great tasting beer for any occasion, so we specialise in brewing classic beer styles below 2.8% ABV for those seeking the perfect balance. Historically consumed as a safer alternative to drinking water, small beer was a staple of British daily life. Today we've revived this long-forgotten category by bringing world-class taste at a session strength to the modern drinker. That's why when we say think big, drink small, we really mean it. We think big by constantly innovating. Part of doing things differently means that we brew our beer up to strength using the very finest ingredients with a focus on flavour maximisation over alcohol creation. And it says small beer is sustainably produced, brewed even. We're always thinking about the bigger picture, from cutting down the amount of water we use to running our brewery on wind, water and solar. So that's pretty cool. And it does also tell you on here that they use twice the typical ingredients per percentage point brewed. It also says they only use 1.5 pints of water to produce every pint of beer, as opposed to 10 for regular breweries. So yeah, and these are based in southeast London, not a million miles from where I was born and raised, actually, in South Bermondsey. So, in fact, I do believe they might well be the closest brewery to my place of birth. So, to tell you a little bit about the 2 beers in question, you get, the 4 beers, you get a tasting card. And it says about Session Pale, it's 2.5% ABV, and it's a truly sessionable pale ale packed full of hops and glory. It's juicy, tropical and citrus. And Steam is a 2.7% amber ale that meets a lager with a punch of British rye. Dried fruit, biscuit and spice are to be expected. And the other 2 beers are lagers and they'll feature in a video next weekend. So, yeah, let's get them out. We're going to treat it not like a comparison video, because it's not often I feature more than one beer in a video and it's not a comparison. This is just going to be a side-by-side tasting session just for fun. So we're going to open each beer and pour it into its own Small Beer Co glass, and we're going to still put them against the pillars of judgment. You know, we're not averse to a little bit of critique here on All How the Ale. So we're going to start by pouring Steam, which is the 2.7% amber ale. So it pours. Nice colour. There. So we've got a nice amber ale. That is mostly clear. There's a little bit of fridge haze. It has been kept cool, and you've got a good finger and a half of pretty consistent off-white head. It's a good looking beer, that. You know, it doesn't look any different to any other beer that you might pour of this style. It's a little bit lighter than most ambers, but not by much. But yeah, so it looks good. So, Session Pale. Now this, I must admit, is the one that got me interested in Small Beer Co. and why I said to the good lady wife that I would like these at some point before she surprised me with them at Christmas, because I do love a juicy Session Pale Ale. So hopefully this one lives up to nearly sent the glass flying, expectations. So it pours very pale, actually, more pale than I was expecting. But it's not all bad news at all. So it is mostly clear. Again, bit of fridge haze. A couple of inclusions, you know, so it's almost like an unfiltered finish to the beer. And you've got a good finger, a relatively consistent and compact white head. You know, so yes, it is clearly a session pale. And it looks all right. So we're going to go in for a whiff, and we'll start with this one because it's in my hand. So it's a Session Pale. It's malty. It is hoppy. There's a slight citrus zing to it. There's something a little bit... It's quite light on the aroma. It is almost Pilsner-like. It's got that kind of grassiness going on. It smells nice. It does. It's light on the aroma, but it smells nice. Slight citrus, that grassy Pilsner type thing going on. Not getting much tropical. There's almost like that wheat beer vibe as well. I like. So, the steam, which is the amber. Oh yeah, biscuity, dried fruit, caramel malts. Everything you expect from an amber ale, really. It's got that real earthy tone. That could be really promising. Really, really, really promising. Okay, so they both smell nice. They do, but we're going to go for a taste first of all of the Session Pale. Yeah. It's a light body. It's highly carbonated. It's really kind of effervescent in the mouth. There is something creamy going on the flavour front, and you could almost argue it's a bit like a Sharon fruit. A bit of citrus. And that malt is right there. There is something that is so familiar. I've tasted it before. And it's in a very... I want to say it was a German beer that I had. I can't remember which one though. But it's got that grassiness to it as well. I'm very keen to know what malts have been used in it, and the hops as well. I like it. I do. It is very light though. Very, very light. As for the steam, that is really well bodied. It's more of a medium, and the fruit and the biscuit and the caramel malt that I got on the aroma all translate nicely into the flavour. Again, it's quite well carbonated, perhaps a little bit more than I like for the style, but the flavour is sublime. The raisins, the caramel, it all works. I like it. Dare I say it, I like it more than the Session Pale. Yeah, I do. I do like that. So for the finish, on a pale, I do look for those juicy hops to kind of reign supreme, and a decent longevity of it as well. Especially with the tropical flavours that are promised, I hope for a little bit of something on the back end. So let's go for a sip of that one. Okay, so letting it flow over the tongue, just to let it do its thing. And there is a subtle bitterness on that back end, and that's where all the bitterness comes from in this particular beer, to be honest. There is that slight citrus zing, a little bit of hop. The grassiness again is prominent, and yeah, it's a decent length on the finish. I'm not getting masses of tropical juicy goodness on the back end, but it's nice. It is nice. It's quite I like bitterness in a pale ale, and that's where you get all of it on the back end. So as for the steam, yeah, it's a classic amber ale finish. You've got that subtle kind of bittering hop that sits there on the back end, just kind of playing in tandem with those kind of caramel flavoured malts. But it's just a nice warming overall. It's classic. It fits perfectly with the style. Yeah, that is really rather good. So before I give them all individual scores, and again, we're not comparing one to the other, they're completely different beers. We're just going to go side by side. It's just a nice way to get two in one, really. Let's have a look at the Aid Memoir from Untapped. So the Session Pale's got 1,152 check-ins with an average of 3.11, and the Steam has got slightly less at 1,092, but a slightly higher average score of 3.22. I have a feeling that my score is going to be this way round as well. I say I have a feeling, I know. So let's go back to my scoreboard and we'll just top these beers up with their respective bottles, just so we can have a good look at them again. So, as for the looks, the pale, it pours nicely. You have got a nice bit of haze. It's got a, oh, excuse me, they are quite gassy, these ones. Good head on it. It does have the nicest head of the two. Perhaps a little paler than I'd like, but it is a session pale. I have to bear that in mind. It looks all right. Is it perfect? No, I'd like a bit more colour, and I'd like, yeah, just a bit more depth of colour. I like the subtle haze. I'm gonna give it a 0.75 on the looks for the session pale. Where's my bit of chalk gone? It's over there. 0.75. As for the steam, this one to me, it looked superb. The head on it was lovely, as you'll see again. It's the right colour for the style. It's got that off-white head, almost sort of taupe ecru type colour. It's spot on. It really is. And again, up to the light, you've got a little bit of hint at an unfiltered nature. This one, absolutely spot on terms of looks. I like it. It's a little bit lighter though than most ambers that I'm used to drinking, but it looks bloody lovely. I can't fault that one at all. It's got a full point for me. And aroma. Session Pale promised to be juicy, tropical and citrus. It has some of that. It's got that grassy nature that I would expect in like a Pilsner. It's got a little bit of citrus. Not a huge amount of juice or tropical notes, but it smells alright. You know, not quite what I was hoping for in it, but it's still quite tasty nonetheless. It's good. It gets a half on that one. And the steam, this one smelled lovely. It really did. It gave you the biscuit, it gave you the fruit, and what else did it offer? Spice. Yeah, there is an element of that. It's almost like a coffee note, like a spicy coffee. It's really unusual, kind of that spicy note. But it is more coffee. But it smells divine. It's typical of the style. Love it. I do enjoy that. It could be excellent. It's almost excellent. It's going to get the 0.75. If it was just a little bit stronger, because both these beers are quite light on the aroma, that would have been absolutely spot on. Body, we don't need to go back to the beer for that, but we're going to nonetheless. The Session Pale is a bit too light for my liking, and it's, again, a little bit over-carbonated for me. It's still all right, but it could definitely be better. It's what I would call average to middling. I'm going to be generous. I say generous. I'm going to be optimistic is the word I was looking for. I'm going to give it the half on that one. As for the steam, you know, that was excellent through and through. It's the right body for the style of beer. It's a little bit over-carbonated for my particular tastes, but otherwise the body is superb. The mouthfeel is nice enough. Like I say, just a little bit overdone on the carbonation. It's going to get the 0.75 from me. And the taste is really where it matters. The Session Pale, whilst it has an element of what it offered, you know, there's a subtle hint of citrus. I didn't get masses of tropical. There was that creaminess that comes from something, I'm not entirely sure what. It's going to be one of the hops, I dare say. And it's kind of like a Sharon fruit, that kind of custardy vanilla thing. But there's not a lot more of the citrus or the tropical fruits. Not really. It's pleasant enough, but not one that I would go for on a regular basis. It's good. It's not excellent. It's going to get the half again. And the steam, you know, it promised that biscuity flavour. It promised the dark fruit, and it delivered on all of that. You know, it's stronger on the flavour than it is on the palate, and you would be really agog if you didn't know this was only 2.7%. This drinks stronger and tastes better than many beers that are arguably a lot more expensive and a lot stronger. I really cannot fault the flavour on steam at all. It's going to get the full point for me on that one. Didn't expect that. I was expecting the Session Pale to be the tastier of the two. I do love an amber beer. I was born and raised on it. But let's go to the finish. As we know, for a pale ale, I do look for a bit of bitterness, and I do look for a decent bit of longevity. And when it promises citrus and tropical fruit, I look for that as well. It does have most of the bitterness on the back end. As for the citrus hops, it's a little bit of it, not a huge amount, but it does last for a decent length of time. And for me, the finish is the best bit of the Session Pale. It's not perfect, but it is very, very good nonetheless. It's getting the 0.75 from me. And steam, again, I'm loving steam. I really am. It's got everything that I look for in an amber ale. It's got that kind of classic British bittering hop flavour on the back end that plays lovely with the malts. You know, they dance a merry jig around your back garden. Well, not the back garden. Well, it must be the back garden because you can't go down the beer garden, can you? Let's be honest. But that is spot on. It's everything I look for in an amber ale. And for me, the finish is flawless. It's got just about the right length on the finish. It's got just about the right balance of hop and malt. Spot on. It's going to get the full point from me. So, we get a result that I perhaps didn't expect. You know, I do love amber ale. As I said, I was born and raised on amber ales. My old man was an amber ale drinker for just about all of his life, when he wasn't enjoying an occasional Jim Beams or a proper single malt. But amber ale was his first love, and consequently it was mine as well. But my recent foray, I say recent forays, last however many years, I have enjoyed an awful lot more pale ales than I have amber ales, and there's not many breweries bringing out ambers that I haven't tried, and I'm really pleased that I've found another new one that I thoroughly enjoy. So let's tot up the scores. What we got? 1.5, 2. We got 3 out of 5 for the Session Pale, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4.5 out of 5 for the steam. And there we are on the chalkboard of joy. I did not expect to prefer the amber, but I'm thoroughly glad that I did. And they do subscription services, and I may well just add this one to my repertoire of beers that are going to arrive regularly on my doorstep, because it is really rather good. There we go. That one, steam, for me, out of the two, is excellent. I'm looking forward to the next week's one now, where we've got the regular lager and the dark lager. I've enjoyed a couple of dark lagers over the years, and that one I suspect will have something really interesting about it. And just to let you know, the regular lager is 2.1% and dark lager is only 1. But I'm going to give you a sneak tasty preview of what to expect on the dark lager. It says, a stout on the nose and a lager on the finish, smooth chocolate and coffee. That, my friend, sounds interesting. I'm going to leave the regular lager to your imagination and see what we expect from that. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, before I go waffling too much longer, we're going to get to the point in the video where I'm going to say, down there are some buttons. You know exactly what to do with them by now. You've got like, comment, dislike, and subscribe. Choose any combination of them as you wish, And do let me know in the comments section below if you've tried anything from small beer and what you thought of them, particularly the Session Pale and Steam. On that note, I'm going to go and drink these beers, get the video uploaded for your viewing pleasure, and I will catch you again soon for another one. Bye.